Hey Sherwood and the team there at Royalty Auto Service. My name's Ken, and I'm the independent AMSOIL dealer that sent you guys the AMSOIL filters and oil. So you're probably wondering, why the heck did I send oil along with the filters? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on in the automotive industry, and I can tell you a filter is only as good as taking care of the filtration based on the oil that you put through it. So having a really great filter but crappy oil, well, you're not getting any benefit. So that's why I sent you the AMSOIL products as well as the AMSOIL filters. And also the AMSOIL filters, we warranty them for 15,000 or 25,000 miles only with AMSOIL oil in the engines. So there's no point buying the filter if you're not going to use the oil. Since we warranty the oil too, might as well use both, right? So I'm going to go over a few things in this video. You guys asked about 3 different cars, and it's great that you asked about these 3 different cars. A 2019 Chevy Impala 3.6 liter, a 2020 Toyota Camry 2.5, and a 21 Volkswagen Golf 1.4 turbo. So the real big thing with automotive industry now is that all the vehicles are changing based on where they're built because of emission standards. So the emission standards on a Chevy compared to a Toyota compared to a Volkswagen are completely different. So is the oils that they require. So here in the United States, we have our typical Chevy vehicle. We'll start with it because it'll be most familiar. A lot of the older vehicles, they started with having high zinc oils back in the days. That's what was the wear protection in all the vehicles, was zinc and phosphorus. The problem is since we started putting catalytic converters on vehicles in the 70s, zinc and phosphorus clogs the catalytic converters. So we had to switch to completely different types of lubricants just to protect the environment. As we get DPFs, now in the new 2024, I believe, Lincolns and excursions, or not excursions, the expeditions, they're all coming with gasoline particulate filters on them. So emissions is the number one thing. You always get a little bit of oil out the exhaust. There's always blow by. It goes both ways. You know, fuel and oil, or fuel and combustion goes past the piston rings into the oil, and a little bit of the oil will seep back out. And especially with vehicles with really lenient PCV valves, and we'll talk about that in the Toyotas and the Volkswagens. So when it comes to the Chevys, I still like the Chevys because of this factor. They still use a big oil filter and a decent amount of oil that's in the engine. So we want to start with the filters because that's what you guys want to know. This filter here is our EAO 17. It's a big filter. If you want, put all the filters on a scale and see what they weigh. This is a 25,000 mile or 1 year filter. Because it's an EAO, that means it's good for 25,000 miles or 1 year, 15,000 miles or 1 year in severe service. You'll see on the top, it is made in the USA. Now, I know you guys are trying to find out who makes all the filters because there's only a few manufacturers. Well, there's probably only a few manufacturers in the United States, so it probably really narrows it down. From what I understand, they used to be Champion Labs, which is a pretty big manufacturer. But the biggest thing to remember, as Napa told you guys, they had to switch filter reps and stuff like that recently because of the pandemic. Wix had a really big problem sourcing filters. That's why the Napa Golds went away. So what we understand, the big thing with the industry is the filter is still made to our spec. So we tell them what we want it to be. They have to make it to that, or we don't buy it off them to sell to our customers. So I'd really love for AMSOIL to build our filters in-house. That way we could make a lot more of them and probably compete with a lot of the other brands. But that's not the name of the game with AMSOIL. We just like to make the best oils and pair it with the best filter we can have made for us economically. To build our own facility would be way too expensive to actually get it done. So there's many good partners out there. That's why we use them. This filter here has a nice grip to it. You can use the filter ends. AMSOIL does offer those as well. You'll see some different things here. Now, when you start cutting these filters open, I'm not sure what you're going to see. So this is going to be all news to me. So we're going to work together on this, guys. The difference will be in a couple different things. Depending on what the manufacturer spec is going to tell you what the difference you should see within the springs, with the drain back valves, and everything else. Some manufacturers don't, or some brands of vehicles don't even require drain back valves. So some of that you'll see, some of it you won't. So it's all going to be depending on what manufacturer you're cutting open, what vehicle it's for, that sort of thing. So with the EAO17, you're going to see some different things here. Because this is an extended life oil filter, you're going to see that this gasket here is different. Now if I look here at my fancy guide that AMSOIL has on our data sheet, just to confirm, we have a nice little breakdown, and this is all available at SwitchSynthetics.com when you look at any of our filters. So this is a nitrile gasket, stays flexible and tightly sealed. Why is that important? Well, this is an extended life filter. This is going to go through way more heat cycles than your typical filter will. So this gasket here has to be able to handle heat and contraction and expansion a lot more than your typical filter that you see. Now, I'm going to throw one brand under the bus that I think absolutely nobody should use under two main reasons, and it's going to be Valvoline filters. Valvoline filters, if you're in a quick lube, they sell you garbage stuff that is paperweight, paper light. They have filters that there's 26 different filters, I believe, that are replaced by 4 or 5 different filters. They have one that is the threads are only cut halfway. So if it's a 3/4 whatever and a 1915, so 3/4 16 and a 1915 or whatever it would be, you can thread that thing on and it's going to adapt. So all your Fords and Dodges, they take this same filter as well as a lot of the Chevys. The EAO17, very popular filter. They make one filter that will, multiple thread. What's the advantage there? None. Okay, and you have to change them really soon. 3,000 miles. It's a garbage filter, and they put garbage oil in. The second thing I hate about Valvoline, if you're in the business of being an independent business owner, like Sherwood you are, with a couple different shops it looks like, the big thing about Valvoline is they're coming around and trying to get as many people to use their product as possible, and their CRM, or customer relationship manager, the computer system. What they're then doing is once they see how your business is doing, they give you an offer to buy you out and make you a corporate Valvoline quick lube. So not only are they after getting your sales and selling their junky products that you get tons of callbacks on and warranty issues, but then they're also going to try out to buy out your business. So not a really cool thing for me. If you ask me, I think the American dream should still be alive and well. And Valvoline, they're trying to make it all corporate, and they sold off a lot of their business, and they're focusing on the quick lube industry, and they're trying to do it by, seeing how good your business is, then buying you out. Which might be great for some people, but for most of us, just doesn't fit right for me. So this filter is designed, like I said, 25,000 miles or 1 year, 15,000 severe use when using AMSOIL products. So that's the key. Now I hope you cut it open. Tell me what it looks like inside. Everything here looks thick. This throat here is thicker than most filters that I've seen. So there's a little bit more thread diameter here. From what I can tell, this plate is a little bit heavier duty. The filter itself, it's heavy. You can't really see it in here on my video, but there is a metal casing inside there. And I can see the valve in the very bottom, but I can't see, it's probably the metal stamped spring. Now they're all designed to go back at whatever rating that they're designed for. So this does have the wire-backed full synthetic media, louvered center tube inside. This keeps your flow where it needs to be going. And the silicone anti-drain back valve. Why the silicone? You've seen it on a couple other filters. It's really important because of the high heat cycles. For the extended life filters, you need this. So the steel spring, it holds the components in place. Sometimes it's a coil spring, and sometimes it's the flat spring, the steel spring. So you're going to see a little bit different stuff depending on what you cut open, and I'll even show you one that's a cartridge filter here in a sec too. So the other thing is this is 99% efficient at 20 microns. Most brands on the market, they claim 99% efficiency, but at 30 or 40 microns. The other thing to factor in is flow rate over time. So some oil filters will get full quick. They'll filter really great, but they get full. The bypass opens up, then you have no filtration at all. So that's a big key when searching for a filter. This one does the best job out of all the filters on the market that I've seen. I've been a dealer of AMSOIL since 2008. I've owned over 40 cars myself. not including motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATV, UTV, three-wheelers. I still got a three-wheeler, and a bunch of tractors and stuff like that. Now, I'm not rich by any means, but I'm a car guy. I love them. So anything with a steering wheel and some gas pedals, man, I'm in it. So I use this product since 2008 and beyond, or before that. That's what got me into becoming a dealer, and I have not had a failure or any issue with any of the products. And I beat the living crap out of everything I own. So great filter, really designed for that vehicle as well. Now the oils for that vehicle, I'm going to show you a couple different things. If you're saying, okay, you got a 25,000 mile filter, you got to have an oil to go with it, right? The AMSOIL Signature Series is the best bang for your buck. Over time, this product with this filter will give you a better price than going to Walmart and getting your oil change. Because you might spend $100 on an oil change, but you do it once a year. So how many times are you getting it done? At Walmart for 80 bucks a pop for a full synthetic. This is really going to save you time and money. So great product, 25,000 miles in normal service, 15,000 miles or 1 year in severe service, whichever comes first. This has all the ratings on it, and you'll see on some of these we do not have Dexos label on the front, because Dexos, again, when you learn this industry, you find out they charge 50 cents a gallon for their licensing fee. So we do not pay for licensing fees for other brands. We do everything by the API. So if you look in the very front of your books in your cars, you'll see, hey, look at the specs, find the specs. You'll see they all go by an API rating. The API rating supersedes everything else. We can go more into that. Resource conserving, you also see that. That means this oil is made with top quality products designed to help you reduce your fuel or improve your fuel mileage. So you get better miles per gallon with this. Then I probably sent you the extended life motor oil. This is a 20,000 mile or 1 year motor oil. This is the extended life, pretty good price point. I'm going to email you guys the pricing. Now, pricing is different. We don't like to quote it online because it can change. It doesn't typically change all that much with us. And we've actually had pricing come down over the last year, which most brands haven't. But this is a good oil, 20,000 miles or 1 year. It's been reformulated recently. Really awesome stuff. Then we have our high mileage motor oil. This is a 7,500 mile oil. Now with this, if you want the best in filtration, you can still use the EAO17 from AMSOIL, or we offer the Wix filters. Wix has some really good filters at a value price. So if you were going to use the high mileage motor oil, this is for anything over like 75,000 miles. The difference in these all are going to be detergents and base stocks. So they're all still full synthetic, but the base stock quality, the amount of additives, some of that stuff is going to change because, when you're going from 25,000 miles to OE, there's going to be a lot of different things you need to change to keep the engine clean. Sludge is the #1 factor for wear. If we can reduce the sludge, we can take care of your engine. This has extra additives in it to take care of the sludge and seal conditioners, so it won't cause any leaks. If you're already leaking, you got to fix the leaks. There's no way to really fix that. All of our products too, no additives. If you put an additive in, you void the warranty. AMSOIL makes everything in the bottle, so you're not spending any extra money. You get what you pay for. Then I probably sent you the OE, and this is just OE equipment manufacturer, so this has all of your same specs as factory. This is still like an SN Plus oil. It's a little bit better than a Mobil 1 would be off the shelf, and it's still, I believe, a way better price, especially if you're buying by the drums for your shop or totes. So we do drums and totes of this stuff. We move a really lot of this and my Signature Series. Most of my customers, they either want the best price or they want the best product. They shop by either price or value. And most people, like I move tons of Signature Series. Not many people are looking for this. So you guys are saying, hey, you need to sell an oil change that's cost effective that people can afford. Actually, the more expensive oil change is the better value over time, no doubt. But if you just want quick lube type of stuff, AMSOIL does have it. We will be coming out with a new oil in July, so it'll be a little bit more value than this oil as well, but that's a secret. You have to contact me for that, SwitchSynthetics.com, and I'll help you out with that. So that's everything for your GM engines. That goes for all GM vehicles. Those oils work well for them. As soon as we start going into Japanese and European, it starts changing everything. So I'm going to go over some of that stuff and why it changes everything. Japanese cars, they're more efficient, sometimes turbocharged. They're using lighter weight oils. Actually, I've been moving some of the 016, so I don't have much of it here. I do have our 016 hybrid oil here for the Toyota. So if you have a start-stop, even some of your Fords and Chevys with start-stop technology, sometimes this works good because this oil will stay in place a little bit longer whenever it stops, and they'll be ready to pump very soon as that engine starts back up when you let off the brake. So our hybrid motor oil is definitely going to be good for that. We do also, you would have got the 016 Signature Series oil and a 016 OE oil and the hybrid oil. I only have the hybrid oil in stock. And actually, which is kind of unfortunate, I don't have the EAO 15 or EA15K09, which goes in the Toyota Camrys. That filter, so I have a nice list here. I just sold out on it. I also have a customer with the Kawasaki or the John Deere side-by-sides. So I just sold them a case of the side-by-side. So that oil filter goes on the side-by-side, which is kind of funny. That's how small it is. So the reason why we do the 15K, we limit these ones at 15,000 miles, is because look how small that filter is. They are tiny, and the 15K09 is actually smaller than this one. So when we start to compare, remember when I said capacity is key, when you start to compare, you're going to see capacity is going to be a big difference. So that's why these filters, this is labeled at only 15,000 miles. You have about an inch more capacity, almost in each direction on this thing. And this is actually the older Toyotas is the 15K13. So the 15K09 is even smaller than this one by like a quarter inch. Still the same type of filter, same type of, now you can see there's difference in the whole design. Why would that be? Well, because it's going to change your flow rates and the requirements of that vehicle. So when I start looking at some of that stuff, I'm going to see that bypass valves are one thing. And also when you start looking at the 15K09, it's 11 to 17 PSI. Whenever you look at the 17, it's 18 to 24 PSI. So you're going to have the smaller holes for more pressure in the 17, whereas this one, they want more flow. So more flow, less pressure. That's how a lot of that stuff works. This is also a filter made here in the USA. So again, it's a little bit front heavy because the metal here is thicker. It's nicer design, still the same rubber, the silicone, and it looks like it has a spring steel from what I can tell here, which you guys will find out for sure when you open it up. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to find, so I hope it's good news. The 016, the reason why they're going with that is emissions for one and fuel mileage. The other thing is you got to remember a lot of these vehicles have, almost all vehicles since 2009 and newer need full synthetic motor oils. Almost every single one, especially if you're turbo, direct injected, you need a full synthetic no matter what. You can look in the owner's manual and see. The thing about that is they're going to lighter weight oils. We already have a 08 as well. Because of the fuel mileage for one, for two, it activates the cam timing a lot better. So the cam phasers and everything are clutch packs. So that's a big problem to worry about if you're running poor. You're all about fuel efficiency. Clean oil will help the variable valve timing, all that stuff work correctly. So you get the best fuel efficiency. Having a quality oil that is made with the best detergents and dispersants and additives and base stocks will be a very good line of defense. I have customers that say that they see, with the Signature Series especially, a 1 to 2 mile per hour benefit in fuel mileage just by changing the oil. That's how good the oil is. So you have to pair a good oil with a good filter. If you don't pair the filters and oil together, it's basically no use buying the expensive filter. So now the big thing with the Japanese motors too, they typically have a really loose, was what I consider it, PCV valve system. So every time you give that car full throttle, it's going to build up pressure, it's going to go through the valve cover, and that PCV valve is going to vent it into the intake. So that's why, like in your old Honda Civics, you see them blowing a little bit of smoke out the back, especially when people tune them up. That's because a little bit of that oil vapor is getting past the PCV valve. And the newer cars, that's something very important, especially the Volkswagens. They're known for oil drinking issues. I have a 21 Volkswagen Tiguan. It has oil drinking issues, and I'm still running the AMSOIL in it. And it's all because the way that these cars are designed for emission standards. Now, some of them are just, not the best design. The PCV valve on the Volkswagen is definitely not. I've already had it in the shop and had it replaced multiple times. And they just put out a bulletin that says, hey, the car can use 1,000 or a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. I think that's absurd. So Volkswagen, say whatever you want to say, but I'm looking for a new car. I have Subarus that don't do that. I have Fords that don't do that. I've had Chevys that don't do that. I have Jeeps, and I've had almost every main brand known in the United States, and I've never had problems like I had with Volkswagen drinking oil. So you'll see that in a couple different models. They'll use more oil. The Hondas and Toyotas, they consume some oil. You got to watch for volatility, which is the burn off. So if you use an oil that has really bad burn off, it'll actually drink a lot more oil, because as it's heating up, the oil is going to turn to a vapor, and then it's going to go right at the PCV valve, and you're going to be losing oil. You can have oil or engine problems from low oil, and you wouldn't even know it, because most of them don't have warning lights on them on the vehicles to tell you that it's low on oil or low on oil pressure. So that's a big problem to deal with. So check your oil levels once a month, even if you're using an extended drain. More than likely, especially if you're using extended drain oils, because you're not getting it changed often enough, so you don't know if you're losing any. So it's always good to be under the hood of your car. These are your investments. Take care of them, people. Pretty simple. So then I'm going to go to the Volkswagen Golf. Now, the 1.4 turbo is different than the 2-liter turbo. I didn't send you the 2-liter filter because AMSOIL doesn't make one. The 2-liter turbo, we recommend just using the stock filter for that. We do sell a MAN filter or Hummel, depending on, MAN, Hummel, or I forget the other brand right now off the top of my head. Typically, with that filter, I just go with the one at AMSOIL list. If we don't list it, I go back to factory. I've had quite a few Volkswagens. My TDI diesels were by far the best. Volkswagen, if you ever brought them back, I don't care. I would buy another one in a heartbeat. 50 miles to the gallon on the highway, man. You just can't beat that. But when it comes to newer Volkswagens, I am not a fan. Sorry, Volkswagen guys. I love the looks. I'm German, so hey, that's a plus. This is for the 1.4. So I had to go and find a different oil filter for the 1.4. Again, this one here is also made in the United States. This is the 15K51. You can see it has different holes on it. Again, because different pressures. Still the same gasket. Looks like it's a spring on the bottom. And this one, when you open it up, it might not be a spring. That is a blue gasket down inside there. So this one, I'm really curious to see what you get whenever you pop it open. Again, still a great filter. When it comes to European, this is where everything I showed you goes out the window. European cars, you have to change when the dummy light goes off. There is no way to extend it on a European car without oil analysis, which we do. We send it to a third party, so it's not us, rigging any samples here. We have our European 0W20 for that Volkswagen. This is what I run in my Volkswagen. This oil is designed for these cars. They have all the Volkswagen specs. We do have different ones for BMW, Mercedes. Every Volkswagen or every European car is kind of crazy because they have different additives that they require. Sulfated ash, phosphor, getting it all wrong. Phosphated ash, they call it SAPs, sulfur, stuff like that. That is designed, sulfated ash, and I'd have to figure it out and tell it to you. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but usually they have them on here. But they call it SAPs in the in the lingo of the automotive industry. So if you're running a European car, you're not running European oil, which a lot of quick lubes don't do. They just throw the drum oil in. Make sure if you're running a European car, you are running European oil, or you will clog your catalytic converters and you'll have very expensive repairs. Same thing with the oil drinking issue I'm having with mine. We know it's a PCV system. It's been replaced. It's a car with 60,000 miles, and Volkswagen is basically like deal with it. So not pretty happy about that, but this is the best oil for that, and we have the European in multiple different flavors. So like I said, I'm a car guy. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. My 21 Tiguan, I love it. It's R-Line, big wheels, looks great, rides like crap, but it's a fun car in the turns. All-wheel drive, man, you can just lay it on the line in that car, and it's pretty fun. So I'm going to also show you a 15K19, which is a cartridge filter for your Chrysler products. You can see it's just a regular cartridge because this is all that's required for that type of car. This is a 15,000 mile filter. It got the steel pleat. Everything's on here. O-rings are here. Has a steel inside mesh to take care of everything. And it comes with the O-rings required as well for the the cap and everything. So we do offer the cartridge filters for the vehicles that have them for your most common, mainly American-made vehicles. We do have some of the European line. I know we are adding some more, but it all really is hard to do based on demand for one. Since people are keeping their cars, the average I think I just seen is 12 years, going closer to 13 now. So people aren't buying the new cars. So building all this stuff is kind of difficult because most brands, as soon as they offer something new, they have a 3-year patent. We can't copy anything until they release the patents on them. So even if you see a brand new vehicle come out and it takes a special product, typically we can't do anything about it until it's released to the aftermarket. This filter here though is one wasn't a car we really talked about, but I did see this one is a product of China. So this goes to that sourcing issue we were talking about, how you guys were having problems with Napa Golds and stuff. So it just depends. Sometimes you can't get it made in the United States. We just don't have the capacity to do it here, unfortunately. For filters, we do have tons of different stuff. So if you have your old 7.3 diesel Fords, I mean, we got those as well. That thing's just massive. And then even motorcycles and stuff like that. Here's a filter for chrome filter for your Harleys. We have those as well. Oil change kits. Just some of the other stuff that we wanted to go over. Now, again, the oil filter is only as good as the oil you put in it. Everything's going for cleanliness now. Cleanliness needs to godliness, right? So if you want your vehicles to really last, you got to have a good oil and a good filter. I also sent you some of the fuel additives. So why did I send the fuel additives? Well, a good fuel additive keeps your injectors running properly. In the newer engines, most of you guys still have cars that are older. You're not having some of these issues that these brand new cars are. As soon as you get these brand new cars, everything's changing because of direct injection. Once you go in turbo direct injection, it's really bad. The injectors are supposed to spray directly on the piston, but they're not anymore. They're spraying all over the cylinder walls, creating low-speed pre-ignition, causing tons of problems, premature detonation, all kinds of different things. So clean fuel injectors is very important. Very, very important. So we have two products here. The big thing about fuel these days is lubricity, and same thing with oils. You got to have a good lubricant in it. They took the lead out of fuel, which is great for emissions, but it's horrible for a lubricant now. Fuel is bad for a lubricant, but when it had the lead in it, the lead was a lubricant that kept your fuel pumps clean, carburetors clean, and everything lubricated. So that's why, some things are good, some things are bad. As we, grow with a lot of this stuff and we start learning a lot more, we kind of see that some of the stuff that we did before was hazardous, but it was beneficial. Now we're getting rid of it all, and it's less hazardous, but now it's not as beneficial. It's kind of weird, but that's the way the government runs this type of industry. So if we keep letting the government run it, they're going to keep telling us how it needs to be done. So because of all those mandates, that's why we're seeing thinner oils and all that other stuff. This product is really great because the upper cylinder lubricant will lubricate the fuel pump, lubricate the injectors, lubricate the upper cylinder, and helps with fighting ethanol and keep things clean. This is one you can add every tank. It's cheap. Buy it by the case. Keep it in your car, or keep it in your garage and throw 1 or 2 in your car when you go fill up. It does up to 25 gallons and put it in every tank. I do it every other tank. And I notice a big benefit. My EcoBoost truck, and I had two EcoBoost trucks that had the tick, and we thought it was, valve tick. It wasn't. It was the fuel pump ticking, because it's a big block that just rides on the cam for the high pressure fuel pump. So that actually helped quiet down the ticking, and the injector tick. So if you ever get, the Hemis, the 5.0 Coyote motors, and they have it too, that product really helps quiet it down some. Now to clean, though, you really need to have a really good cleaner. This product is very potent. It treats up to 30 gallons, and use it every 4,000 miles. Don't use it any sooner. It is potent. It will clean. So it cleans, restores power, and improves miles per gallon. Both of these are capless use, so you just twist off the cap, take off the seal, and they'll fit down in the neck of your vehicles with the capless design. If it feels like it's stuck, you can see there's ridges on here. Just twist it a little bit and it'll come out, because it's flat on some sides. But for keeping your engine clean, this is definitely something you want to run, when every 4,000 miles, even 5,000 miles. Usually restores a fuel economy up to 5.7%. We've tested this against everything else on the market. We know it's the best. So AMSOIL does not make anything unless we can beat the competition. It's the number one thing we do. We see what's on the market and we beat it. Speaking of that, I did send you a couple other things. Our metal protector, heavy duty metal protector. This is designed for like a rust preventer. Really, it seals out moisture and dirt. You can use this around the shop. If you have a tow truck, spray on the wire rope. I use this as an undercoating. There's tons of uses you can use it for. It dries like a wax. It's a pretty cool product. To keep those engines clean, we have our power foam, and I sent you some brake parts cleaner, and I think some air tool oil too. I think that's it. So the brake parts cleaner, it's a still chlorinated formula. We can't sell it in some states in Canada, unfortunately, because it actually works. So if you want something that actually works, let me know. Give it a review and let me know if it actually works. The power foam is good for 2- and 4-stroke gas engines. This helps cleans deposit, fight ethanol and fuel degraded fuel, removes gum and varnish, maximizes horsepower, and restores startability. This is a product that's a foam. I use it to clean out throttle bodies and intakes, mainly carbs on my dirt bikes, quads, tractors, lawnmowers. Everyone lets their equipment sit. We do have Quick Shot, another fuel additive for ethanol problems for small engines. But this is kind of like my go-to when something's starting to run rough. I will spray some of this in, and you just spray it in, let it run, and then shut off the engine, allow it to sit for 10 to 15 minutes, and then start it back up. So I spray it on while it's running, use half the can, shut it off, spray the rest of the can in, fill up. You don't need it all for ATVs and smaller engines, but in my F-150, I did this, my 5.0 with 105,000 miles. And it made a huge difference in the operation of it. That truck was maintained by Pennzoil. It was a fleet truck that I bought with like 104,000. Did the oil change 105. I noticed a huge improvement. The oil that came out of that thing was sludge. I used the high mileage motor oil because it has high detergents in it. Wanted to see how it would do. Notice a difference right off the bat. I used the power foam. I used the PI, and I used the high mileage motor oil, and yeah, made a huge difference, and the lubricant too. So this is one you can try on some product, on some some stuff there at your shop. Let me know what you think about it as well. And the air tool oil, that's self-explanatory. So I hope you really enjoy some of the products I sent you, and me making this video for you. I hope it kind of puts some things in perspective, because the industry is changing. I know you made a video saying, hey, change your oil every 7,500 miles and don't think anything twice. You can do that with the AMSOIL products. I would say use our OE. It's good for whatever OE recommendation is. If you're going to do that, just stick with a Wix or a Napa Gold, or whatever filter you feel is fine. There's really not going to be that much of a difference if you're just maintaining your oil changes at that low of an interval. The problem we did see is a lot of these other manufacturers are putting in so much detergents and dispersants that if you're changing your oil too often, you're actually going to cause wear because there's so many dispersants and detergents in there that they're not getting to the point where they're wearing out and letting the oil actually do its job. So I know that's kind of crazy to think of, but just think of like, you know, doing laundry and adding too much bleach and it just bleaches everything instead of adding just enough where it just cleans things. That makes sense. That's kind of how some of these products are going. Not really with the AMSOIL products, but I have seen oil analysis on some other vehicles that they're changing it too often by using an expensive product, and it's just, you know, the wear in the engine isn't getting any better. When you use AMSOIL products, take a sample of what you're currently using. If you wanted to, it's like around $30 a sample. We send it into the company we use if you wanted to. We don't really like Blackstone Labs, at least I don't. They didn't have some accreditation, so Blackstone, you can grill me on whatever, but I've seen some reporting and it was just absurd. Whereas we use oil analyzers, a third party, not affiliated. They tell us the ins and outs, the actual fuel dilution, everything. So when you start looking at the value of the oil analysis too, you get what you pay for when it comes to that. Whenever I was looking at some of these oil analysis, you know, we have tons and tons of data. I have data on my own vehicles. And we start to see that using the AMSOIL products, you'll get a trend. You know, initial oil change, you'll see it drop when you use AMSOIL. The second change, you'll see it drop. The third, you'll see it start to level out. And third on out, I mean, I have cars that I have 100,000 miles on, and the wear is staying low and consistent, lower than what it was using whatever was in it from the factory or whenever I bought it used. You actually see the trend drop. So if I have a truck with 100,000 miles, put AMSOIL in it, I see it drop. Second oil change, I see it drop, and then it trends steady. I'm actually helping restore the engines from the inside out by using these top quality products. Again, good filter with good oil is the key. When I did say use your typical Napa Golds or Wixes with the AMSOIL OE, I say those brands because they've known to be really good filters in the past. You want to look for something for a low filtration rate, a low filtration, lower the better micron rating. That's how you keep your engine clean. So don't go and say, oh yeah, I got a oil filter that's at 40, 50 microns. High flow filters like some K&Ns and stuff like that, I'm not 100%, but the high flow filters do no benefit unless you're in racing applications. The better filtration you can do is going to be the key. We do have diesel bypass systems, so you can put on 2 filters, take off your factory filter, put on 2, one high flow, one will do 20% volume, and it'll do it over time, and you'll filter down below 2 microns. So if you have heavy duty diesel applications, we have filtration for that as well. We do have transmission and gear lubes, racing oils, so I do have other stuff. I know you guys just had an issue with some gear oil. This is our manual transmission and transaxle gear lube. We have them in these bags. We also have a 7590 GL5 gear oil. This is a GL4. So AMSOIL does make a lot of stuff. They might not have the exact application, but you know, some of these, if you're having different product problems, I can have some of this oil that will replace multiple different things. So like this one goes for everything. Now this is an odd product, but this is GL4 for, you know, Infiniti, Kia, Land Rover, Lexus, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Subaru, Suzuki, Toyota, Volkswagen, Hino, Mitsubishi, Fuso, and many more. This is for like some of the older stuff, the Borg Warners and Ford top loaders, Dearborn and New Process. So this is some of the older product that we have. So oils have changed over time, and you can see how GL4s, GL5s, all that sort of stuff has changed. And there's API ratings. You can look at the API website and see all that stuff trans out, which is pretty cool. But if you ever need help with any of that stuff too, I can work with that. The other thing I did want to mention, I think I seen you just bought a new Mercedes. We do have AMSOIL car cleaning products that just released. So we have a car shampoo, a ceramic coating, and then 2 different interior detailers, one with a lemon scent and one with no scent. So if you're interested, we do offer those products as well. Nice add-on accessory for your customers, as well as many other things. I mean, we have thousands of products, and every vehicle takes a different type of oil. We have a vehicle lookup guide. It's real easy. Put in a year, make, model, and engine, and it'll bring up everything for that vehicle. You can see it all in one spot. So AMSOIL is trying to make it super efficient and super beneficial for businesses to use the products, as well as our customers. So I hope you guys really do enjoy the filters and cutting them open. But just remember, the filter is only as good as the oil you put in with it. So I hope that helps. The other thing I did want to mention on the cams and stuff like that is a lot of these direct injected engines, because they've gone that way, are putting a lot of soot in the oil. Something gasoline vehicles haven't had to deal with. The soot is what is ruining your timing chains, your timing guides, causing a lot of timing issues. AMSOIL products we have tested against soot. We have really good results against fighting the soot and the sludge. So if you're, if you're a customer or a business and you're seeing this happen with your customers, probably is going to be that they're using the wrong oils that aren't designed to handle these issues in these newer, higher performance cars. Smaller engines, putting out more horsepower than ever before. So they really need products specially designed for them. It's no more of the semi-synthetic stuff is really going to be beneficial. In conventional oils, you can pretty much kiss them all goodbye. There's many other oil brands that are out there on the market. There's some big diesel oil brands that are well known to be, global in the diesel market. They actually just released that they're completely getting out of the conventional business altogether because there's no benefit. So you'll see some of this stuff happening here in the future, where a lot of these manufacturers are switching to things. We're saying the price is going up on a lot of these things and things are getting more expensive. It is true, but it's because they're higher quality. The emission systems require it, and there's a huge benefit all around whenever you look at what you're actually getting, what you're getting in performance, and what you're getting in protection. So, quality does count more than ever with your investment in your vehicles. So make sure you take care of them. If not, they're going to give you problems, and it's just going to be, frustrating dealing with these cars. So, Sherwood, Royalty Auto Service, I hope you guys enjoyed the little care package I sent to you. If you want to get your business set up, it's absolutely free. I set you up as a preferred customer just to get you guys going and get the order into you. We can always upgrade to a business account where you guys can sell and install AMSOIL products if it's something you're interested in. If you want me to stop down and see you guys, I'm in just south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I do business all over the country and Canada. So I'll gladly come down and meet with you guys. Or over the phone, Zoom, whatever you guys want, and help you with whatever you would need for your business needs, and to better service your customers. The big thing I can say to businesses, Valvoline, and as much as I hate them, I see them all over the news. Being in the oil business, I have to follow the competition and see what they're doing. Valvoline recently released a new oil that's full synthetic, cleans and restores the engine from the inside out, does all this stuff. AMSOIL has had this stuff since the 1970s, folks. Everyone's been copying AMSOIL. There's a reason why no one puts out data bulletins or product reviews or testing results compared against AMSOIL. No one does it. For years, AMSOIL did it. We put out us against everybody. Project Farm, you can see them. You could go on Banks. If you haven't watched the Banks series where Gail Banks goes and visits AMSOIL factory, there's a 4 or 5 part video series. It's amazing. Go take a look. You can see our lab. You can see our dyno lab, our mechanical, that's the mechanical lab. You can see our engineering lab where we actually have all the testing and sampling that we do in-house, where we design our oils. And then there's tons of stuff out there on the AMSOIL website where we're actually going out and abusing equipment, 195 horsepower side-by-sides we're putting on a dyno. We even dynoed weed whackers. We would dyno 6 weed whackers at a time, and lawnmowers. We'd put 6 lawnmowers in a time. We completely tear them apart, inspect them, put them back together, run them, and then tear them back apart and measure everything. Every single thing on these things gets documented, and we can see exactly how AMSOIL is better. So if you guys have a fleet, stuff like that, we do have small engine oils. We have 2-stroke oils. pretty much everything you need to operate a business efficiently. So if you guys are selling to fleets and servicing fleets that are having downtime, really we can help extend the fleet life. You know, a depreciated asset is great. An extra year of using a depreciated asset is amazing. So I've helped customers keep big rigs longer. We have million-mile trucks out there running, 2 million-mile trucks out there running AMSOIL that have never been really, torn apart down to the block. I think there's one out there that had a head job done on it, had a bad head gasket at 2 million miles or something like that. So we have the data that prove that AMSOIL is the better product, bar none. If anyone feels like they can prove otherwise, please let me know. Everyone has their own opinion. So I would say, feel free to give AMSOIL a try. That's all I'm asking. If you test the products, you see the quality, you're going to see that AMSOIL cares about making sure you and your vehicle is taken care of. And me, as an independent dealer, that's the only thing I can really guarantee is I'm going to give you the best service on the best product, and that's pretty much all I can really offer you. You call me, I'm available. You want the best product, I got it, and the best pricing, I can give you the best pricing I can on the product. So those are my 3 guarantees. I'm not going to be the guy that takes you golfing when we do business. I'm not the guy that's going to go treat you to all kinds of parties and ball games and stuff like that. I don't make much money being a dealer, but I do it because I love the cars, I love the products, and I love the stories and the memories. I'm a car guy. I'd rather be behind the wheel traveling cross country and just enjoying the open road and not having to worry about my car. I just know that it's perfect and everything's running good and protected. So if that's you, you're a good fit for the AMSOIL products. If you have any questions, SwitchSynthetics.com is where you can find me. My phone number is 724-986-3728. Call, text, email ken@SwitchSynthetics.com. This is my little office that I built here outside of my house. So I do keep some product here, around 15,000-20,000 in inventory. A lot of customers come right here and pick up off me, but we do drop ship all over the country in Canada. So we have 13 distribution centers. Typically it's 1 to 2 days, 3 days max till we can get an order to somebody. So order time isn't that bad as well. And we do have multiple new products. I actually got my camera sitting on our new OE 0W40 for your new Ram 6.4 Hemis. I do have a 040 Signature Series that is for your Hellcats, 6.2 Hemis. So even that difference, the new 6.4 Hemi looks to be the same exact 040, but it's not. They changed the spec on the 040 in the new Hemis. It's more European based. It has almost like a diesel-ish anti-wear package to it that's in some diesel oils. So these manufacturers are actually going out there and purposely changing some of these things to help reduce wear and reduce the problems. And it seems to kind of be working for Hemi. I haven't noticed the issues like I've heard with the Godzilla motor or like the 6.2s and 5.3 Chevys that are eating cams and lifters. I think the 7.3 Godzilla was also having lifter eating issues or something like that. So those are newer engines that we're definitely tracking and trying to see what the problems are in those. AMSOIL products, will help protect against the wear. We're not going to fix those problems if they're a known issue from the metallurgy issues in the metals that they designed for these motors, but we will help protect the motors from wear in the beginning. So I've had some customers that said to me, "Hey Ken, I got these fleet of Ram 5500s and I'm putting turbos on at 90,000." And they're like, "What's up with that?" And when I start looking at the data and finding out what other people are dealing with, I've seen turbos on the same trucks going out because Ram had a couple of years with bad turbo issues. And, they're going through turbos at 30,000. I had a friend that had 2 turbos before 60,000. So, and I have this customer that is running in AMSOIL products and it hasn't had a turbo issue until 90. So I'm not guaranteeing we won't have issues. I'm guaranteeing whatever issues that you're going to see are going to be well down the road with the AMSOIL products because our wear protection is definitely superior than others, including my Volkswagen. You know, Volkswagen says, hey, this thing can drink 1,000 or a quart every 1,000 miles, and that's okay. My Volkswagen is doing a quart every 2,000 miles. So I'm actually doing double better than what their recommendation is on that engine. So they know it's a problem with those engines. Volkswagen's not doing anything to kind of solve them. I still have the factory warranty on it, but I think it's one car that I'm just going to have to get rid of. It's driving me nuts, you know. As a car guy, I can't handle that stuff, especially when they know it's an issue and there's nothing they can really do to fix it, even running the best oil possible. So sometimes that just happens based on what brand is that you're running. So again, I hope this helps. Sorry for such a long video. Just passionate about the cars and helping you guys out with any kind of issues that you can throw in there and try and, I'm just thinking what questions you would have that I can try and answer for you. Again, if there's something I missed, call, text, email me. If I don't know it, I have tech service with AMSOIL. We can go through and find out what's going on and, however we can help you with products. We don't make everything. So like supercharger oil, nothing I can really do for that just yet. But, most products we do have, and I can service with just about anything you need. So thanks a bunch. Ken, SwitchSynthetics.com. Take care. God bless you all.